Hello, this is Benjamin Price reporting for Kids First, and today I'll be interviewing Anna Mastro, director of the new Disney Plus original, Secret Society of Second Born Royals. That is a mouthful. What drew you to taking on this project?
I loved the script because it was like this very untraditional coming of age story about this girl who didn't fit into her world and her family, and realizes she kind of has powers and has a higher calling. And I thought it was a great opportunity to make an original movie for Disney Plus that had could be really grounded and could feel really modern and really real, and I loved that.
So this is sort of about these teens discovering they have superpowers. When it came to that aspect of the story, what were some of your influences?
Definitely X-Men First Class. Kingsman was a big influence. I love all of those kind of like Marvel sort of action-y movies. I had worked on Runaways, and I thought it was fun to see sort of this princess, or young kind of teens in a world of royals, sort of having these experiences. Getting to blend the worlds was really fun.
Yeah. So speaking of Runaways, you directed an episode on that show. In what ways did your work on that show inform your work on this film?
Um, I don't know. I mean, when you go into a show, you're very much sort of fitting into what they're doing. But strangely, there was a lot of crew on that also helped me out on this. Same stunt coordinator, Matt Mullins. We had a cinematographer who shot some of the movie that was on that with me as well, that I've known for almost 20 years. And so, it was exciting to think about that show and this, because that show has such great writing, and that it kind of is really grounded. It sort of makes fun of the world that it's in a little bit. And I like that sense of awareness in trying to make a modern movie that still takes place in Illyria, like fake world, but really feels like our world. And I think it was important to make it feel like our world.
This film is kind of a significant departure from the last one you directed. What
Yeah.
were some of the challenges of directing the film's action scenes?
I've done a lot of action in between. It's been quite a few years, and I've gotten pretty good at the action stuff. But like I said, I brought my buddy in crime, Matt Mullins, who's a great stunt coordinator, and helped choreograph some really badass fights. And we had a really great visual effects team in Mr. X, who was on set every day and part of the planning of the sequences. And that was a huge gift.
So the movie kind of culminates in this set piece at the Coronation. I'm curious, just in terms of how many extras there were and the costumes and the set design, what went into shooting that one sequence, and how did you pull it off?
Uh, a lot. That sequence, well, actually, the palace itself is made up of probably 15 different locations. So it's really broken down by where these real places are. And that particular church that was the Coronation Room is part of U of T, and no one's been allowed to shoot in there for 12 years. Huh. And I knew we couldn't afford enough extras for a bigger church. And so I campaigned, I begged this school. This is like a school for students becoming priests or something. Anyways, I begged them to let us shoot there. It had such a beautiful vibe to it, and it would fit like a couple of hundred extras, and it was the couple of hundred we could actually afford for the 6 hours that we needed to shoot the sequence inside the actual coronation. And it worked out beautifully. We have this amazing costume designer, Elizabeth Stola, whose birthday was yesterday, and she is a genius, and she made the most gorgeous costumes. And we really sort of made these lookbooks of my assistant, my whole team, and costumes of stuff extras could bring. So we had a lot of extra costumes for the extras, but people did show up in these beautiful things because we were able to send them booklets of like, if you have anything like this, please come bring it. And I don't know how we pulled it off. It is so diverse and so beautiful and really represents like an international world to me. It was very special. And the sequence itself, I mean, we're just talking about the coronation, but the actual action sequence is so fun. We love it. Like it makes you like nervous.
And that's another one that is very visual effects centered too. So this is a film you talked about, First Class. Similar to that, this is a film about a team slowly coming together. How did you emphasize those shifting dynamics amongst the cast members who make up said team on set?
Like shifting dynamics in the movie, like
yes.
I don't totally understand the question, but I think what you're asking me is like, how do they ultimately decide to like go all in and work together?
Yeah, just sort of the gradual shift in we're all these different people, we don't necessarily get along, and by the end they're fighting against this one.
I think as they start to like get a handle on what their powers are and how they're going to use them, you have these great scenes where they start to really deal with the things, you know, they haven't dealt with in their lives before. Like Roxana really says, like, if no one can see me, who's going to like me? And, you know, it's basically just be yourself and be whatever that is in the moment. And you see the scene with Sam, and then Sam also has a scene with Tuma where, you know, he kind of understands that like using his powers for not good or are wrong, and he can't do that anymore now that he knows what they are, and he gets a sense of like awareness and humility. And you know, James is really this great coach that kind of pushes them into these situations, and then they sort of complete them on their own.
Lastly, let's say a sixth spot opens up on the team of the second-born royals. Which second-born royal, past or present, would fit in best with the rest of the team?
Well, there are some hidden gems in the underground layer of some second-borns of past. And did you catch any of them?
I think I saw Margaret and Harry, if I'm not mistaken.
Harry's in there. And then there's a couple of others, so you'll have to wait and see. Okay. But if there are sequels, I hope that that is part of it.
Well, you heard it here first. Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Make sure to check out Secret Society of Second-Born Royals on Disney Plus, September 25th. This is Benjamin signing off. See you next time.
Thank you.
The fairy tale ends is where our story begins.